Hi everyone, it is Nikki Pava with Allegria Partners, and I am lucky enough to be at Companies versus Climate Change in Fort Lauderdale. And right now I'm talking with Jacqueline Drumheller from Alaska Airlines, and she is going to share with us a little bit about her role at Alaska Airlines and how the company's Green Team has changed over the years, and just share a little bit about their story. So take it away, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Nikki. I love being here, and thank you for inviting me to speak. I love our Green Team, and I love the story, so I love to talk about it. So, our Green Team started probably about 2007, 2008, when everybody was kind of coming to that consciousness. Al Gore had his video,
Right.
and climate change and everything on the cover of every single magazine back then. And there was a bunch of employees, like-minded people, like typical of any Green Team. Here we are in Seattle, arguably the greenest, epicenter of the country, sort of thing, and then Portland, and then San Francisco, of course, where we have a lot of flights in there too. It's where all our employees are from. And at the same time, I was sort of having the same frustrations. I had no idea a Green Team was starting. I was working in the Environmental Affairs Department. I was working on sort of compliance stuff, like hazardous waste and this and that, or whatever. It was regulation driven. And I was sitting at my desk one day, and I think the CEO was unattended. He was supposed to have a meeting with somebody, and that person had to go off to the bathroom. He was just sort of wandering around.
So you got your chance? Yeah. That's great.
And this was not my job by any means, and I was getting pretty frustrated. And the awareness was at an all-time high, and I didn't feel that the company was doing enough.
Right.
So I accosted him in the hallway while he was unchaperoned, and I'm exaggerating here, but put my knee on his chest, started sticking my finger in his face and yelling at him about, we got polar bears on our marketing material and we're doing nothing to save, the North Pole kind of thing. And at first he had this sort of frightened look on his face, like he was going to call security, kind of thing. And then after a while his eyes twinkled, and from, that was really strange from a sort of a cold-hearted capitalist. And then finally, my vice president rescued him and whisked him away. And I thought, oh, you're in for it, Jackie. Right. And you're in big trouble now. You're not going to have a job tomorrow for assaulting the CEO.
Right.
And
but a good story.
Yeah. And so I get an email like 2 hours later going, oh, after you left from my VP saying, Bill and I were talking about this, and he's interested in what you have to say. And I'm like, Bill Air is interested. He's not Bill Air, he's since retired, but he's interested. Holy crap, what have I got myself into? Sorry about that.
They're all adults out there.
And it was like just this perfect timing, because I heard somebody down in marketing wanted to form a Green Team. And so she was really good. I worked in the safety division at the time, and I didn't know how to get things done at the company at all. I knew how to do environmental compliance. That was my job. I didn't know who the important people were. I didn't know how to talk to an executive, obviously. And so I heard they were forming this Green Team. I'm like, I printed my email. We don't do that anymore. I ran over to this meeting that I heard was coming together. And I said, you guys, this is perfect. This is perfect timing that we're starting to form this Green Team, because I was just talked to Bill Air, and he's interested. And we need to get a proposal to him stat. And when we first launched this, the energy was so high, and it was so awesome because everybody was so excited. Nobody had done anything. Everyone wanted to do something, and we were drawing people in from all parts of the organization. And that collaboration, I learned so much from working with marketing about the messaging, about who to talk to, how to talk to, what to do. And it was really a lot of guerrilla tactics at first, with our Green Team. So we thought, well, let's put together a proposal. We'll find 7 low-hanging fruit. This is pretty typical. Bam, 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 bam. This is what we should be doing. These are the things we're really pissed off about. We should be doing in-flight recycling. We should be recycling all our oil cans, because every plane gets 5 quarts a day, right? We should be, I forget what it was, we should be using a different kind of paper. We had 7 different things. And so I sent that back to my VP going, well, we're forming a Green Team, and this is what, our proposal is to do. And they're like, oh, that sounds interesting. I swear that's all I got. It was like, those are marching orders, right? So, okay. So between the lot of us, we would start talking to people in the company, like maintenance, going, I really think you should be recycling oil cans, and because I was talking to Bill Air, and he's interested in this project.
Doing a little name dropping.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It was all like collusion sort of stuff. We What else did we do? We decided that we needed to add the word environmental stewardship into the company's value statement. And because it's so lean there,
Right.
if you don't ask for permission, you just go do it. Nobody notices that you did it. So we just changed the company value statement.
No one will notice.
Yeah. We just started, well, here's our new environmental policy. What do we want to be on it? So we started doing a lot of what I call green guerrilla tactics. But you know what? It happened, and I think this happens with a lot of green teams, is you get attention from doing this, and you do, because suddenly, for example, our sister carrier, Horizon, has been recycling for years. It's been very grassroots.
Right.
They didn't form a green team. It was just, and maybe you want to call it that, it was a group of flight attendants that were concerned.
Right.
They didn't like seeing all those cups and cans going in the garbage. So they started collecting it, putting it in the back of their truck when they got off ship and driving it.
So awesome.
Yeah, and some places they still do that because it's a really, really small place and they don't have the infrastructure for recycling. So I'd known they were doing recycling for years. And, again, at the same time, the National Resources Defense Council put out a study that said, how airlines were trashing the planet by using all these plastic cups and napkins and everything like that. And I said, we got a story here. And I was learning from my marketing friends, right? It's like, let's measure it. Let's really see. Turns out we had a 67% diversion rate. So 2/3 of all the garbage we were making were actually getting to a recycling facility. And once you start measuring it, then you start applying for awards.
Right.
And you apply for an award, and you get an award, and then they start saying, well, what other ways can we get recognized for environmental stewardship? So it started looking as part of, they started seeing it as a good image, a brand, a communication thing.
Right.
So, and because we're really lean and there wasn't a lot of structure or a lot of permissions to ask, we just started doing the in-flight recycling program. So it was voluntary with all the flight attendants, and this is on our bigger carrier, Alaska Air. And, getting feedback, getting recognized. And then we started, putting that in other areas. And eventually I was working 100% environmental compliance and then doing this on the side. And then I just started ignoring my regular duties and started doing sustainability stuff because I was excited about it, and eventually it was made official that I could work on this on the clock, and then eventually it was like 60-40, 80, and then 2-3 years ago I was turned into sustainability manager there, where I get to do this kind of stuff 100% of the time, and I'm not in environmental compliance anymore. And the same kind of thing with our first sustainability report. We need to write a report. It's like, okay, do you have a budget for it? No. I think I know somebody who has a budget. Oh yeah, you can. He was the chief counsel. You can put on my budget. He was our first executive sponsor. You can put on our budget. I'm like, yeah, because I think I got to hire somebody. I need $30,000. Yeah, put on my budget. I'm like, okay.
Great.
And so then when I got my first invoice, I brought it to his admin assistant and said, here's the first invoice. And she's like, Keith doesn't have a budget.
Oh no.
So I had to walk around and beg for money.
After you already
alms for the sustainability report. And we eventually got rolled into like our employee resource groups kind of thing. We call them business resource groups now, BRGs or whatever, along with the Globe employees, the gay, lesbian, and the black employees and the baby boomer employees and the ex-employees, so we have all these different affinity groups there, Native American, and we were the green ones, which I thought was kind of funny. But compared to everybody else, we've been really going strong, and this has been going on since about 2008, and we've changed. We're no longer tackling the projects that we did, because that's become more embedded in the organization. So we, as sustainability manager, I helped the company make some goals around emissions and waste reduction and energy reduction and sourcing of materials and things like that. And now the green team is more about employee engagement, getting other people to kind of participate in this rather than doing the projects themselves, because they're more institutionalized. So our real estate department now owns an energy reduction goal, right? Our in-flight owns the waste reduction goal for in-flight. Our catering department owns the sourcing goal for our in-flight supplies, like our forks and plates and things like that. So it's not as fun that way.
Right.
But we're getting things done. But so the Green Team is still really active, and we, I think with the millennials coming in, they're more excited about it, and so we're getting a lot more fresh blood in our group, but a lot of the core members are still there, the same people. And the Green Team volunteers to do a lot of things and comes in and helps staff and helps get the word out, and it's a great way for people to collaborate and meet people who have the same sort of inspiration and initiative from departments all over the country.
Right.
Not all over the company. Sorry. Yeah. So people from maintenance and in-flight.
Right.
Not normally people that talk to each other.
Right.
So
that's a
good
whole
learning mechanism.
That's such a good thing about Green Teams is like they bring all the people together, and that's how they're going to be more effective. If you can't have a whole Green Team full of marketing people,
right.
It won't go anywhere.
Right.
But you have people from all the different departments that'll actually work.
Right.
So
and
you
just learn so much because you learn everything about the organization, right?
Exactly. That you would
get
not
to
have
every
known.
single corner of the company. It's like going in and it's like being responsible for sweeping a giant warehouse. Is you're going into the little corners where you never noticed there was stuff going on before and getting familiar with them. And I don't think you can learn more about a company than being involved in sustainability or a green team or something like that, because you get to examine everything, and see what makes the company tick.
Right.
Yeah.
And is the Green Team, is it mandated by the company or is it a volunteer team?
It's a volunteer-run team. It's not mandated, but they do have some structure and governance in place around that, about how they're supposed to work and how much time you're allowed to spend on them, on the clock and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes. I really appreciate it. And don't worry, everyone, I'm going to be calling her and emailing her so that I could get a longer interview for the book probably in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, love it.
All right, thanks.